Hey, I want to let y'all know I'm not with Donald Trump no more. I don't support him. I don't like him. I think he's a corrupted leader. And, yeah, it took me a while to come to that conclusion, but I finally am coming to it. I do not like the guy at all. The first thing for me was he didn't release the Epstein files. They're even acting like they didn't exist. And then, of course, they're sending Israel and Ukraine all of our tax dollars, just like the numbnuts before him did. Putting America last. And now he's blaming the beef farmers for the price of beef. Hey, I'm not biased, man. He talked a good game. He tricked me. I was fooled. I admit it. Okay, now let me tell you how bad I think this is, though. This is really this bad, guys. I want y'all, if you're a Christian, I want you to get into Revelation 13:3, and I want you to read that verse. Yeah, about the Antichrist, about the one who was fatally wounded in the head. Then he was miraculously healed, and the whole world marveled at him and said no man can make war with him. Yeah, I do think that Donald Trump is that beast of Revelation 13:3.
I need to say I'm sorry. I voted for him. I thought he was going to help folks like me. I really did. Now my SNAP's gone, my Medicaid's gone. They cut off my heat and help last week. I don't know how I'm supposed to buy groceries next month or keep the lights on. I ain't got no...
I want to say to every American that's having trouble with this, I am sorry I voted for him. I regret it with all my heart. I feel like I've enabled this monster to destroy democracy, destroy everything that is good in this country.
We've got a very crazy man driving the train, and he's going to kill this country.
And Anthony, are you voting a straight up and down Democratic ticket?
Not only there, I am actually for the very first time contributing across the board, across the country. And I've never, ever written a check or spent any money on anything political because I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
I've been a lifelong Republican since the day I turned 18. For the first time in my life, I'm going to vote a straight Democratic ticket. Is if they're connected to Donald Trump, they are not connected to me.
So you now are no longer a Republican?
I am not, no.
Because of Donald Trump?
Because of Donald Trump. It was no longer the party that I joined. It's morphed into something that's almost unrecognizable.
You were a lifelong Republican.
Right.
If somebody had told you, say 15 years ago, that you are preparing to vote a straight up and down Democratic ticket in the midterms, you would have said what to them?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
So why are you now doing it?
To see Republicans not stand up to him, and the ones that do are just quitting.
I just think there's no values left anymore. There should be values. We have no values. He doesn't have any values. I thought he had values.
No, I'm definitely voting Democrat. I've been knocking on doors. I got a clipboard.
You're even canvassing.
I am canvassing for a Democrat in Wyoming.
That's how strongly you feel.
I believe hardly anything the president says, but I do believe he's a danger to this country and to our democracy.
Screw the Republican Party. I've been a Republican since I was 18 years old. I'm 62 now, and I'm embarrassed to say I've stuck it out this long. The last 10 years have been enough of this crap. Support me. Hit all those buttons on the right-hand side of your screen. Follow me. Leave me a comment. Repost this. Every Republican that I know right now, I'm trying to get flipped over to the Democratic Party. Join me in this effort, please.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted not to vote. But people said you won't be able to have a say in anything if you don't vote. I totally regret this. I shouldn't have voted at all.
Hello, what's up, good people? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you're doing great from wherever you're watching this video from. Now, in this video, we really want to talk about what is happening in America today. And yes, it's really happening. The unthinkable for maybe most MAGA supporters, the MAGA world. Across America, Trump supporters, the same people who really shouted, "Make America Great Again," are now admitting painfully that they made a huge mistake, that they feel betrayed, they feel used, and they feel abandoned by the same man, the same regime that they put so much trust to it. Because when it really came down to it, Donald Trump didn't really just stand for them, for the ordinary MAGA supporters. He really just stood for himself, his friends, and his dollars. Now, that is what I want us to talk about in this video. We're going to watch a bit more of some of the reactions from, MAGA supporters, Americans. And at the end of it, we'll be back with a good commentary. Yeah, if it is your first time across the channel, thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel to become part of us. I'll see you on the other side.
If you feel hopeless right now, I'm here to say some Trump supporters are actually regretting their votes. Estimates as high as 1 in 4 people who voted for Trump regret their votes. And on anonymous forums like Reddit, people have poured out their feelings about how much they regret voting for him. People like farmers who have been upset that they're not getting support and money is going to Argentina instead of them. Young voters who feel manipulated by the MAGA movement. And centrists who aren't necessarily committed to a political party have all expressed serious remorse over their vote. The fact that people are admitting that they're not happy with the election and the way things have been with Trump is a serious step in the right direction. As you know, in most cults, people who speak out against the leader are seriously punished. They're ostracized and experience a lot of hostility, which typically prevents them from speaking out in the first place. So although it may feel hopeless and like fascism has been descending upon us for a few years, there actually is a sign of some progress. That's why it's so important to have conversations with these people. If you're a white person and you have family who are Trump supporters, this is a really good time to try to get through to them, especially because a lot of Republicans want the Epstein files to be released, which could be used as a way to find common ground with them and convince them to not be MAGA anymore. Still have a long way to go, but the fact that his approval rating is dropping is a serious sign of good news.
A woman in West Virginia who was one of Donald Trump's biggest supporters now regrets her vote for Trump because he fired her from the federal government. Just take a look at the clip.
This flag used to hang there. This was the flag Jennifer Piggott proudly hung outside her home during campaign 2024.
We had the flag. I had the shirt. I was a MAGA junkie.
A MAGA junkie who thought her government job would be safe with Donald Trump in office. She was wrong.
I cried. It's scary, you know, it's a really scary thing. And I was embarrassed.
He's a good boy. Piggott was abruptly fired last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service, based here in Parkersburg, West Virginia. The reason given for the firings of 125 probationary employees at the Bureau? Poor performance.
I had my last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do. To cut the knees out of the working class Americans just doesn't make sense to me. I expected more from President Donald Trump.
Since speaking out, Piggott says she's received death threats and her home has been egged.
Yeah, she had her flag out, she wore the t-shirt, she was very much in Donald Trump's corner, and now she regrets it. She would not have voted for Donald Trump again, and you're seeing this sentiment all over the country. There were a lot of people out there who voted for Donald Trump to lower grocery prices or lower gas prices. Now, obviously, that's not happening, and instead, he's firing people from their jobs and destroying the federal government. We are already seeing a lot of regret from Trump voters, and I think that's only going to increase.
Okay, here's the deal. I have been MAGA. I have been full-on MAGA. I supported the tariffs. I was all behind. I was supportive of the immigration actions, all that stuff. Okay, but I have principles. I'm just. I don't think I can't do it anymore. I can't continue with the stuff that's breaking tonight. I can't. You got to have a line. You got to have some kind of humanity. You got to stand for the principles that our country was built on. Okay, so I think I'm done. I can't stand with the guy anymore.
I want you guys to listen to this Trump supporter that voted for Donald Trump, and now he's bitching and crying because Donald Trump took funding from SNAP benefits. This is a must-watch.
Trump has cut my food stamps from $2,800 down to $350. Now, what am I supposed to do? So I literally just got this piece of mail today saying that due to new policy changes from the Trump administration, all this shit, whatever, that all these cuts and whatever he's doing over there, now they're telling me I have to go work. Now I have to go do all this. Well, I literally got 5 kids. Okay, I'm I'm trying to sit here and spend time with them. I'm not trying to go work, 50, 60 hours a week so I can pay bills. I just really don't understand. I voted for him this last election because I thought what he had good was going on, but now all of a sudden, all this policy stuff's coming out, and now he's making all these cuts, and now he doesn't want to help the less fortunate people no more. I'm done with that guy. I'm not. If he gets voted in again, I'm leaving this country because I'm not dealing with this no more. This is all shit.
I voted for Donald Trump, and I am so sorry. Oh, no, I did not. I did not vote for Donald Trump, but I've been seeing these videos all over my For You page. There are so many people coming out of the woodwork now saying that they voted for Trump and that they have now realized their grave mistake. And I'm grateful to hear that people are absorbing the reality of what's happening around us and that they have the emotional intelligence and wherewithal to be able to examine their decisions and to be able to see the error of their ways. It is very interesting to me that a lot of these folks seem to have come to this conclusion solely based off of the recent news around the Epstein files. That wouldn't have been the straw that personally broke my camel's back, but whatever it takes. I'm just glad that people are realizing that they were played, that they were duped, that they were sold a lie, and that this grifter is never going to follow through on his promises, and actually he's going to destroy all of us eventually. He and his people, because I don't even really think that Trump's the one that's actually in control of anything. I think that he's just another pawn in the bigger scheme of right-wing politics. And it's interesting when I go and look at the comments on some of these videos, because there are always people who are grateful to the person who has come around, and then there are always the people who are bitter and angry and resentful, and I get it. I totally get it. I understand those feelings. I also am going to have a very hard time trusting and moving forward with people who have changed their minds. Like, the damage has been done and is continuing to be done, and you helped us get there. So yeah, I'm glad that people are realizing that they made a mistake, but what we need to see now is action, positive action toward healing this damage and stopping it in its tracks. We have fallen very far down the slippery slope into fascism, and unfortunately we have given the wrong people power, and it is going to be very difficult to claw that back. And honestly, we may not ever get back to where we were before. We might just have to hit rock bottom and survey the damage and figure out how to rebuild. There are a lot of people who are already being hurt, who have been hurt, who are going to continue to be hurt, and we're going to see a lot more destruction, I think, before we see things getting better. So, yeah, I guess I'm grateful today that I don't have to make an apology video for who I voted for. And I'm not here to defend the Democrats either. I think that most people who are in power right now are corrupt and have gotten there through evil means. There are a few political leaders out there who I think really are trying their best to do what's right for this country and the world, but not very many of them. So, I get that we all kind of have to make choices between the lesser of two evils. I do think that the decisions that I have made have been consistent with my values and would put me on the right side of history. So thankful for that, and I'm thankful now that there are people who made different choices who are seeing that there's a better way. So I guess I'll just leave it there for now. And if you're watching this video and you're someone who regrets your vote, I just want you to know that it might be hard for some of us to just wipe the slate clean. We're gonna need to rebuild that trust that we've lost in each other. And I think that that is possible. And the first step is being able to admit that you played into the destruction of our democracy. Even when people were very loudly and clearly trying to tell you that these would be the consequences of that choice. So personally, I'm willing to build bridges again. I'm willing to accept these apologies and try to move forward. And I will try to encourage my fellow progressives to also have open minds and open hearts, but we're gonna have to do some real work together. So welcome if you are coming into the fold of people who do not trust Donald J. Trump. Welcome.
So the other day when I got out of the shower, I had no makeup on, my hair was wet, and I made an apology video that I voted for Trump and that I regret it and that I want to make amends. A lot of people heard that I was blaming my public education, that they had to accept my apology right away, and that they had no valid feelings for what they were feeling because of what this administration has done. And I just want to clear up that after rewatching my video, I can see where all of these assumptions are being made. But I'm in recovery, and whenever you do something wrong, step 10 is you admit it, and then step 9 is, so step 4, you write down all your resentments. Step 9, you make amends to those people. Step 10 is from that point on, which I've finished the 12 steps years ago. I'm working through them again. But step 10 is from that point on, whenever you realize that you are wrong, you admit it, and you make amends. It's like a nightly inventory. I realized I was wrong in January. Whenever I saw the inauguration, because it was my first time voting, and whenever I saw the little hand motion, whatever. But yeah, a lot of the comments and a lot of the research I'm doing by like where I grew up and like how this happened, like I really do feel like I'm coming out of a cult. And I'm from a small town in Texas, Cisco, Texas. If you look up the Wilkes brothers, they're billionaires, and they basically bought the whole town. When I moved there when I was 8, it used to be like really, really run down, and they redid the little downtown. They built splash pads, churches, community centers, parks, places, things for people to do, because there was nothing to do there. So that was all normal to me, and everything there is all about religion. So I've deconstructed the religious part that I learned growing up and found my own spiritual path. I'm just now doing it with politics, and that's okay. So my message is anyone that wants to leave MAGA, anyone that's regretting voting for him, or if you're regretting not voting at all, you don't have to have a reason or validation from anyone to join the resistance. We all need to come into this together, and that was my whole point of making that video. I was just trying to be honest, like I do in my program, and just say I made a mistake and I want to be a part of not harming people. Another thing is the whole racist thing. You can think that I'm racist, you can think that I'm not racist. It doesn't matter to me. I know that I'm not. My Mexican and Black friends know that I'm not. But I just wanted to put it out there that my apology video was not perfect, but it came from the heart. And if there's anyone else that feels like they want to apologize, please do it, or share this video. If you have someone in your life that voted for him that you can kind of see as being really quiet and withdrawn, I'm sure that they're feeling how I was feeling, and that's guilt and shame, because they don't, sometimes when you don't like really grasp what's going on until you see the harm being done. And that's okay. We're all human. We all need to meet each other with grace. And this is just my opinion. And I'm not forcefully demanding anything from anyone. I went into that I go into every amends with zero expectation. You cannot expect anyone to do anything. And I know at the end of that video when I said don't come with hatred in the comments, that a lot of people took that as you don't have a right to be upset. everyone has a right for their feelings. I just feel like that we're upset because of hate crimes, and I don't feel like that we should be arguing and fighting with each other in order to like actually use our time and energy to make a difference and to right our wrongs and to join the resistance and to protest and to call our representatives and to lift each other up. There should be a time where we are in acceptance and lifting each other up. When an addict says, I'm done, I'm through, I don't want to do this anymore, they have places to go. They have safe people that welcome them with open arms. And if they did not have that, there would be no recovering addicts in this world.
I've been coming across a lot of videos of people who consider themselves to have once been in the MAGA cult, but now they're saying they're done with Donald Trump. They're done with Donald Trump, they don't trust him anymore, and they're leaving MAGA, and they have all sorts of reasons why. But the scary thing about a lot of these people is this. They're not leaving MAGA because they want to become more liberal, more empathetic, progressive, or a Democrat. They're leaving MAGA because in many cases, they want a theocracy. A lot of these people have some pretty weird views still, and I show you these videos to point out that these people exist. So when you're asking me, how do we reach across the aisle? These are the people you're asking me to reach across the aisle and try to convince to become Democrats. And I'm showing you these videos because that's just not going to happen. And you see, what I think is the most crazy about this video is that she still has that MAGA attitude. You guys shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You were going to vote for Kamala Harris, so I don't want to hear from you. Then she says, we don't know anything. This is a person who once actually trusted Donald Trump. She is now realizing all the things we said way before she voted for him. Yet we don't know anything. She's mad at Donald Trump basically because of the Epstein files. That's why she says she only trusts Massey. There have been many Democrats before this that have asked for the Epstein files to be released. They've been asking about that for a while. We all knew Donald Trump would never release the Epstein files. You can go back to some of my oldest videos. I said to MAGAs many times, if you guys really believe that guy is going to release the Epstein files, you're more delusional than I think you are. So this woman who says, we don't know anything, once actually believed Donald Trump would release the Epstein files, once actually believed that Donald Trump was trustworthy. Again, she is not becoming a liberal. She is not becoming progressive. She does not care about people more or anything like that. She said, I am a lifelong conservative. That means she wants someone who's going to release the Epstein files, but also take rights away from women, not give anything to the poor and downtrodden in this country. She doesn't want any of those things. She just wants the Epstein files to be released. She's probably still okay with the racism and all of that. She only trusts Thomas Massey because he is calling for the Epstein files to be released. That is why she's saying that. So when she says, I'm not going to tell you guys why I don't trust him anymore, but then goes on to say she only trusts Thomas Massey, that's exactly what she's saying. Then you have this UFC fighter, Bryce Mitchell. Now, Bryce Mitchell has been a huge Trump supporter for a long time.
Did you know that the areas being most impacted by Donald Trump's government shutdown and programs like SNAP, Head Start, and more expiring is Republican rural areas? Donald Trump is right now screwing over his own voters. And meanwhile, Trump is building a ballroom. He's redoing bathrooms in the White House. And just yesterday, he had a lavish Halloween party, which was Great Gatsby themed, right on the nose if you've read the book, where he and his wealthy billionaire buddy friends had these exotic dinners, these expensive drinks, and waiters bringing them food all night. How do these MAGA voters not realize that Donald Trump is laughing at them? They're the same people who made him wealthy, bought his shoes, his cologne, his trading cards. They're the same people who put him back into power. And now they're the same people who are being screwed over by his disastrous policies. And genuinely, I feel for them. No American child should go hungry because of their political affiliation or how their parents voted. No parent should go hungry because of how they voted. But that's the reality we live in. And it's the reality because of Donald Trump. And we can only hope that they realize it, but I'm not holding my breath. It's so mind-boggling.
My MAGA brainwashed mom wrote me a letter, and I just wanted to share it with you guys just because I'm one of the people that has not cut off all of my MAGA family. I love my mom very much, very deeply. She is, you know, she would take 1,000,000 bullets for me, so it's really hard. It's really hard seeing this happen, but I thought this letter gave a really good insight into how deep into it these people really are, and how sure they are that all of this going on is a good idea and that it's the right thing. I don't know. I just wanted to read it. I thought maybe somebody might take something from it. I want to preface this letter by stating that I love each of you. She does. She really does. Understanding the current flow of communication is extremely difficult, especially utilizing mass communication methods. I am feeling increasingly alienated from my family, and it sucks. I believe what I believe, as do you all. I do understand that there are differing perspectives and opinions about people, systems, laws, reality, fairness, and so much more. The fact that we can allow each other some grace without judgment or aggression is being lost amid the torrent of emotion around the world. The discord occurring in our family and also globally will continue to be an issue if there's no latitude for conversation or allowances for differing opinion. I am and have always been the same person I am today. The fact that there is a large movement of people who can find no good in the changes that are being made in the U.S. is disconcerting. She has not always been that way. She literally used to tell me to use the men's bathroom as a kid all the time. She never cared. She liked gay people. She didn't care. She hasn't always been this way, but she thinks that she's always been this way. The lack of any concession of any one item or multiple that has been or will be altered by this administration in a positive light causes great unease. Something in the world has to change. There are many complaints from the other side of things, but no real solutions. I don't agree with everything, but I can say that 95% of proposed changes are in direct alignment with my point of view. We are not on a good course, and as a legal U.S. citizen, I personally am tired of the aggression toward people like me for the lack of interest by a portion of the population that seems to want to continue to be stolen from, lied to, and pushed aside. She genuinely thinks that immigrants are to blame for why she's not a millionaire. Yeah. This statement has no bearing on any ethnicity, ability, or disability of personal choices by any other beings in the country. We cannot save the world. We should not want to be responsible country to provide for others. There's typos, sorry, she's not perfect. We have contributed financially to most countries' aid in the facilitation of economic growth and sustenance. Much of that money, it seems, has been abused by our government and the governments of those countries. We should be looking into this, and I am personally happy that there could be some accountability. Any monies spent that are provided to our government or others needs to be audited a frequent level. It's audited every year.
Okay, welcome back. And after listening to Americans, vent out their frustrations, MAGA vent out their regrets, we can say, and we have seen this, that MAGA farmers are crying. The working class white Americans, those who really believed that Trump, was their champion, are now realizing that once he got what he wanted, he left them high and dry. Many are now saying, we thought he was one of us, especially those, diehard white MAGA Republicans. But Trump was never really one of them. He's just proving that point to them. He was never, the voice of the forgotten America that he lied he was. He wasn't the voice of the forgotten American worker. He was the mouthpiece of the billionaire class. His corporate, the corporate elite, and those already winning the system, the rich, the multi-billionaires and billionaires of America. He talked about draining the swamp, remember? He talked about he will drain the swamp, only to end up swimming in that very swamp himself. He claimed to fight for the people, but his policies are actually only proving to favor his rich friends and the big donors to his campaigns and, his journey to the White House. So, that's why these MAGA supporters are now, in this kind of regrets and in this kind of situation. So we talk about the betrayal also, and you look at the pattern, the tax cuts for the wealthy and broken promises for the ordinary, working class Americans. And now even the most conservative communities are being, they are seeing through the illusion now. They can now see, and that's why they are talking. Trump just used anger, resentment, and fear to actually fuel his campaign. And it has worked. It worked for the second time, or probably the third time. because there are people who already have voted for him 3 times now. But after all the smoke and the confusion has cleared, the people who voted for him are left with nothing but the rising costs of living, broken farms, the fading hope, unsustainable living standards in that country. He told them America was being taken away. So we need to build a wall. We need to chase away other people. We need to lock out America from the rest of the world. But what really he took away was just the trust of the people that really trusted him the most. And the ironical part here is, or the sad irony here is, many of these same supporters, they did not vote out of hope. They voted out of hate for other people. They voted to own the libs, to take their country back, were the slogans, or, to simply vote against the people, they were told to hate, or they believe they should hate, the immigrants, the minorities, anybody that is different from them, But when you vote out of hate, you will always end up hurting yourself. Look at MAGA farmers. They voted to chase away the immigrant workforce that actually serves them in their farms. Now, they're the same people today crying that they're filing for bankruptcy because they have no one to tend to their farms, and they have lost millions of dollars that, they invested in their farms. So whenever you vote out of hate, just know that that hate will, in one way or the other, come back to you. They voted against affordable healthcare, they voted against social programs, against economic fairness. The things that they themselves are using, or things that could have helped them, or have been helping them. They voted against all that just to spite others. Now look at what is happening with the SNAPS program. Look at what is happening with the Affordable, Healthcare Act, Medicare, Medicaid. They're the same people crying, but they're the same people who voted for a government that is now stripping them of their benefits, And now reality is hitting really hard. The same people who, who would come out to say during the campaign trails that we don't need government help are the ones crying for relief. They're the ones that are crying that the government need to bail them out economically. They're the same farmers crying when Donald Trump is supporting his friend in Argentina, And Trump's promises are just quickly vanishing into thin air. And, like everybody else that wasn't drunk in this MAGA hulabaloo, expected. And the part of the lesson is now here if Americans, want to learn anything from it. And maybe, we always say, just maybe, America will learn from this, that leadership shouldn't be about hate, that patriotism isn't about division, dividing people, pitting American against each other, Americans against each other, black versus white, the rich versus the poor, the immigrants versus the citizens of that country. No. And that a real leader doesn't use people's pain for personal gain. That's not a real leader. America needs to start being more introspective, asking the hard questions before voting. Because when you vote out of hate, we have just said, you will eventually be hurting yourself in ways you didn't expect. And who really benefits from any candidate's promises? Those are the questions, Who are they really a representative of? You should ask yourself before you vote, who do they represent? Who do they stand for? And, because in the end, what Trump is really showing America and Americans and even the rest of the world is exactly who he cares about. His rich friends, his businesses, his own interests, and maybe his own personal image, not the ordinary, everyday American citizen, not even his most loyal supporters in the red states. He doesn't care about them. He used them, and so he doesn't need them anymore. So the truth is simple here. Trump used hate to win power. And now that the same power he has acquired has left his own supporters powerless, and maybe that is the lesson America needs to, finally wake up to. Or maybe that is just the lesson that finally America needs to wake up. Yeah. So I don't know what you think about what is happening in America today, what you think about what we're talking about in this video. Do share with me your comments in the section, in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you like what we do, then please subscribe to the channel and be part of us. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video.